With me is Chris Coste, former Fargo Red Hawk, won a World Series with the Philadelphia Phillies. Coach, I want to talk a little bit more about your own story. Greatest memory as a professional baseball player?
No question, it was running on the field when we won Game 5 in 2008. I have so many good memories, whether they were personal success or, getting called up and getting my first hit, things like that. But running on the field, because when we won Game 5, I think we were only ahead by one run. The tying run was on base. Eric Hinsky was up, and he had hit a home run earlier in the series. So it wasn't one of those, just get the third out and you win the World Series thing. It was, we might actually lose this game. And if we would have lost Game 5, the Rays that year had a much better pitching matchup. They had their two best pitchers still lined up for Game 6 or 7. We were kind of, Cole Hamels was all used up, and he was our ace. So the Rays would have had the advantage. So we were all in the dugout holding our breaths. So when Brad Lidd struck out Eric Hinsky to end it, that run on the field, that dreamlike state that I try to put it in words, but the only thing, when people ask me what it was like to win the World Series, my phrase is usually, imagine that you woke up one day and you found out that you won the $100 million lottery, that feeling of disbelief, there's no way this is happening to me. That's pretty much how it felt.
That is just an awesome story and event. Again, Chris Coste with us. Any questions, comments, 888-598-8464. 888-598-8464. Coach, I want to ask you this. I mean, your story's incredible. You were, with the Red Hawks, with Marsha, living down in the basement. What kept you going? I mean, what had you keep the dream alive where 99.9% of the guys on the planet would have said, you know what, I gave it a shot, didn't work out, I'm going to hang up the cleats?
Well, Chris, obviously we've known each other since the Little League Baseball, and I think people that knew me like yourself knew that when you said my name, baseball was the first thing that popped into your head. So baseball was the one thing I always wanted to do, whether it was playing or coaching. When the Red Hawks, when the Red Hawks rolled into town in 1996, for me, that was my major leagues. I just wanted to play for that team, and when I did play for the Red Hawks, I really didn't have aspirations. I shouldn't say aspirations. I didn't have the thoughts that I would become a major leaguer at that point. I just wanted to play in Fargo. It wasn't even, in fact, when Doug Simonek called me up in 1995, he basically said I had no chance to make the team. So I just wanted to be a Red Hawk. Now, I wasn't thinking Phillies. I wasn't thinking major leagues. And when I made the Red Hawks team, for me, it actually felt like I won the World Series personally. So my thought was, I'll play for the Red Hawks for, 10, 12, 15 years, become the manager one day or work in the front office. And, I was happy with the Red Hawks. And then when I first got the call to go to the minor leagues with the Cleveland Indians, I actually turned it down simply because I loved life in Fargo so much. I wasn't making a lot of money, but, life was good. You're right. I was living in the basement with my wife, and in 1999, my newborn daughter at the time, and but to me, that I might as well have been a millionaire because I woke up every day knowing I was where I was supposed to be. And then you fast forward several years when I eventually did make it to AAA. To walk away from the game when you're in AAA, to me, is not very smart, simply because you're so close to major leagues. I would see my teammates and opponents go to the big leagues on a daily basis. And the fact that I knew that I was still a pretty good player. So there's a ton of reasons why I could never have walked away.
You see all these movies about guys going through AA, AAA, and then going up to the bigs. Take us through that. Again, Chris Coste with us here, Philadelphia Philly, World Series champion from Fargo, played for the Red Hawks. But talk to us about that when you're playing, AAA ball and you're driving around in buses. All of a sudden you're up at the bigs. You're flying around. What's the differences or what takes place there?
I always say that people ask me, hey, what's the difference between the major leagues and the minor leagues? And I say something to the effect of, the minor leagues are peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on a 10-hour bus ride to nowhere or to the Red Roof Inn. And the major leagues are steak and lobster on a chartered flight to the Ritz-Carlton. That kind of sums up the lifestyle. And but the common theme that you have, though, is whether you're in the minor leagues or the major leagues, every major leaguer was in the minor leagues. We all have a common bond. And, I've only been in a few major league clubhouses, but the one great thing about the Phillies clubhouse was as many stars that are on that team and that were on that team when I was there, when you walked in that clubhouse, you weren't a rookie, you weren't a veteran, you weren't a you didn't have a $150 million contract. You were a Philadelphia Philly. You bled Philly red. They don't care where you came from, who you were. If you could help us win, you were a Philadelphia Philly, and that's one of the many reasons why they're so successful.